Back at it once again. I don't know what just happened to my audio or my camera. My computer crashed. I guess that's what it would be the equivalent of crashing. I don't know. But I'm gonna finish what I got to say, goddamn. So we are back. And this will just be part two of Outlaw Radio, Mighty Whitey. It was Mighty White of my computer to just do that, what it just did. Camera went out, everything went out. But so we had Dion on the line. I know Dion will call back once he realizes we are back on. I know if you're messaging me saying, "Yeah, what happened?" It's back on, man. It's back on. When you're independent, you deal with these kinds of things. Although I've never seen it happen quite like that. We were talking about Charleston White. I was getting to Charleston White. Dion had called in and he was making some comments. I was getting through with Charleston White. I still want to know if people out there support still can still make sense of anything that he may say that might seem positive. Like, okay, I guess my whole thing is, and this to sum it up, is you don't really have to do all that to help me understand the point, right? Like, so if you are speaking to the dire situations that we have in some of our communities and whatnot, totally understand it. You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to add the extra shit. And I understand that I'm older and of a different kind of fabric than some of the people who he's trying to appeal to. But I just think we should put some limits on disrespect. I think, Kamar, there should be limits, man. It should be, certain individuals who behave a certain way or carry themselves a certain way shouldn't be allowed to come around. That's just how I feel when it comes to Charleston White. Even if you come in to say something positive, I automatically don't want to hear it because of all the bullshit you done said. Like the disrespect, the just to us as a people, not just to certain individuals. If you dissing this, but you can't diss the whole race. Like you have no clue what you're talking about. So, but that was just kind of my take on that for people who were saying I don't know what they was talking about. Now I know there's some news was out there that there was talk of possibly.
But you know what, kid? Hey, think of this.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just finna say, you think about it, the people that he talk about, he talking about people that's living a destructive lifestyle. Whenever he talk, well, I can't say that because I'm not. As I said that, I'm thinking of different people who don't live a destructive lifestyle who he done disrespected. So let me retract that statement.
The baby, the 5-year-old.
Let me retract that statement and shut the fuck up again. No, I ain't talking about that one, but that one is one. Right. You know what I mean? And that's what I was saying. Like, I can't think of a few people who he disrespected, you know what I mean, who don't live that lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's just that it's a lot of the people, like when he talk about different black women, he talking about a lot of the different black women that we talk about too. Or like when he talk about these different niggas in the hood, and you know what I mean? A lot of these niggas do be living destructive lifestyles. I ain't saying to give them a pass to talk about them, but you know what I mean? We talk about them too, these same types of people. Only we don't do it in a disrespectful way.
Well, once again, and that's where last time we had this discussion, we came to a fork in the road because what he said about black women wasn't necessarily about hood rats or, counterproductive women or women who had these issues. He said all black women. He made this message specific to all black women. None of them are worth anything. It wasn't, I hear what you're saying. Now, he does criticize gang members. He does criticize people who are, doing crime, but I hear him say a lot of things about people who are not engaged in that lifestyle too. And especially when you start talking about
that's why I say I gotta retract. But that's why I said I gotta retract that statement and shut the fuck up. I did say that, right?
Right. Oh, Earl has found us. Earl, y'all spread the show. We back. I had a brief audio faux pas. He said with Charleston White, anybody can get it. Yeah, well, that's, and that's cool, but so can he. Anybody who says, when I hear someone say that, anybody can get it. Well, that includes you too. You know what I'm saying? So you reap what you sow. And that's just, I don't want to, I think he's talking
about how Charleston White go at everybody, like we were just
I know, saying. That's what I'm saying.
You know that's what I'm saying. I think it's just, yeah, he go at anybody.
Yeah, just like I'm saying, my point is,
from him.
Anybody who says anybody can get it, they need to include themselves in that equation. So whoever's saying that anybody can get it, yeah, you can too. Like, stop. You don't just go one way. What they say, they didn't stop making guns when they made yours. And that's what his thing is. Oh, I'm out here smoking weed, carrying guns. I shoot a motherfucker. It's just like, dude.
Well,
and then when somebody does do something for him, then it goes down as, oh, well, he was out here trying to make sense and y'all murdered him. That's what I'm saying, man. Oh my gosh, this is crazy that this is the day and time we live in where this kind of shit is tolerated. I had reported on here that Trump was looking into pardoning Derek Chauvin. And shout out to Dion, he had made the point that Derek Chauvin still has state charges on top of the federal charges. So even if Trump was to issue a federal pardon, he still would be in there for 21 some odd years because of his state convictions. But Trump said today, and can you really trust him is the first thing. But the second thing is he said today, I ain't heard nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. He denied that he even knew that there was even conversation, which is incredible to me because we just seen Elon Musk talking about it. So have y'all not spoken? Like, or is this more piss in your face and telling you it's raining type shit? We know that he denied Project 2025, and if you look at a lot of the cabinet positions and the administrators that he's put in place, they were all key authors of Project 2025. Lied to you right in your face. Right in your face. Kamar, when we had Orlando on here, if you paid attention, not you, but anybody, you heard me ask him, with all of the need for changes and with all of the things to be done in this country, why does he feel the need to lie to us and just say things that are not true and mislead people? You know what I'm saying? That right there to me is
like everybody gonna get $5,000 checks.
Right. This is why lie. But even when he just 300-year-old people getting Social Security checks, like, and you just move on to the next thing. Like, motherfucker, that's not true. So, and this is how he moves. And nobody's saying, well, dude, you ain't got a lot though. They say you ain't got a lot to kick it. And so, this is a weird time, man. But I do want people to understand that this is what happens when you get white nationalists in the White House. Trump is a white nationalist. Musk is a white nationalist. All these individuals that are with them, that are hired by this cabinet, even the black people that they hire, they haven't hired many. I think I've seen the one brother, and there's an Indian supposedly, but they're white nationalists too. They're white nationalists too because they're part of executing this agenda. But I'm glad he denied the whole Chauvin thing. That would be, like I said the other night, we've been waiting. Black people are in a holding pattern to see, well, what's really good, what's going to go on, what is he going to do to black people? When is it going to come? When is it going to be time for the rock to fall on us? And so I thought that this Chauvin thing might be the start of it. And we still don't know that he won't do it. He said he hadn't heard about it. But that don't really mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Earl says his mother, he's talking about Charleston Wright, his mother is a black woman.
Hey, I got a question. You think they could be doing shit to incite black people too? Like that rumor, or even if he did do that, right? To get black people to take off and start rioting every motherfucking way again and doing all that crazy shit so they can institute martial law or some shit. You know what I mean? Like how he was pardoning motherfuckers that did the insurrection. You know what I'm saying? Like different shit like that to incite black people to take off out here. You know what I mean? Like I wonder if they could be on that type of shit too.
Well, I'll look at that in two different kind of. But first of all, the fact that even if he did it, the state charges would still keep dude locked up. That would make it stupid for black people to react.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
but no,
the rumor though.
But I don't think that might be the case in some other issues. But with this one, I don't think it's that. I think it's just because so many stories come out. Sometimes, well, all the time now, when you post anything on Facebook, I tell people this: look at the source. Go to the source of where you got it from, because there is a lot of fake news. There's a lot of people, like you said, clickbait is $1 million. How many times have you been victimized by clickbait, Kamar? I've been victimized by clickbait.
Man,
Like
a million times. A million times.
yeah.
Damn, I shouldn't have clicked on that motherfucker.
And I look at a lot of times when I look to see if it says sponsored or not, because a lot of times there'll be something and it'll say sponsored. So that's some bullshit. But also, like I said, sometimes it's satire. And sometimes people just put shit on a meme and just send it out there and be like, well, we're gonna see how far this flies. So it's very important to research the researcher. L Bay Booker, how you doing, my sister? She said Project 2025 is hurting a lot of Sun Dodgers that supported Trump. Absolutely. And we talk about that all the time. White women, congratulations, you played yourself. Right? What Big Daddy Kane say on the symphony, put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself. Latinos, you played yourself. Poor white people, you played yourself. Elderly white people, you played yourself. His government is designed to benefit white nationalists. And if you're not down with that, then it's nothing there beneficial for you. Like I said, us foundational Black Americans, we just been sitting here like, what's and I guess when people say, well, they took DEI and affirmative action and all that kind of shit. When we start looking at it, most of us realize, hey, I'm not even a DEI hire in the first place. It had nothing to do with how I got this job or how I got this position. And statistically, it wasn't moving the needle forward for us like people wanted you to believe. That stuff, a lot of that programming, and a lot of ignorant racist white dudes would say that we got rid of all the freeloading nigger programs. Well, y'all get more welfare money than us because there's more y'all than us in this country. Y'all get the same benefits. When you start talking about Social Security, that ain't just for Black people. You know what I mean? When you start talking about taxation and all that kind of thing, it's the only people that can benefit or be affected is rich people versus poor people. Earl Henry said, when the idiots say anything, only an idiot will believe it. Sister Booker says, I believe they want Black folks to act out to riot, but we ain't gonna fall for the okie doke. So she's echoing you, Kamar, saying that some of this shit might just be put out here so we can go and act a fool. But you know what? I think lessons have been learned.
Look, I thought about even with the DEI, check this out, even with the DEI thing, you know what I mean? When they got rid of DEI and then the Civil Rights Act, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they doing shit to try to get us upset, man. Trying to get us to take off or something. Every so often they doing something. But then, like we said, we all know that we ain't had nothing to do with that shit no way. Civil rights had something to do with everybody. That, you know what I mean? That covered everybody. That wasn't just for Black people. DEI, that wasn't just for Black people. That covered everybody. You know what I mean? So, like, but Black people feel like that's a shot at us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people.
So, like, I really feel like they trying to maybe entice us into some bullshit, maybe.
Let me go here. This is my sister, Sister Booker. She says, Black folks, please don't be reactionary to Trump's foolishness. She said DEI wasn't for Black folks. You know, I look at DEI and Black Lives Matter and a lot of these kinds of newer, I don't know what you would call them. They're organizations or groups that are hierarchical in nature and have names and slogans and catch tag phrases and hashtags. And when I look at those agendas specifically, DEI, I mean, I felt like that was more for LGBTQ and women. Because automatically you assume anytime you say civil rights, you always think of Black people because you say the civil rights movement. And who was at the forefront of that? Us, which also makes it more criminal and more necessary for us to delineate now, because for so long, so many groups rode on the coattails of that, and we suffered the consequences, and then we get put in the back in terms of being recipients of whatever advantages that it provides. So that's why we should be looking at it like even more to say, oh, you Mexican, you're Puerto Rican, you're Haitian, you're Jamaican, you're African, you're Sudanese, you're Ghanaian. Okay, go over there and be that. Go over there and be that. We're gonna be over here with us. Now, if y'all want to do business, let's sit down and talk.
Right.
It's not like there can't be relationships built. There's not like we won't sit down with other cultural organizations and say, okay, y'all support us, we support y'all. But that means you can't fold your tent when shit get hot. When they get to throwing them rocks on that bridge, you can't take off and say, "Hey man, not me. I'm Mexican." You got to be down for the whole thing. Ewok always says, if you grin, you in, right? Ewok always says, if you grin, you in.
Right.
That's the importance of the delineation movement in the first place. That's why it's needed. And in the future, when something, once again, and I know Dion disagrees with me in terms of, he said we can't use our votes as bargaining chips and things of that nature. But I believe in the power of a swing vote because I live in a swing state. And I've seen what happened. We got Skippy Walker to fuck up out of Madison because of the black vote in Milwaukee County. Got him up out of there. That's why I'm still pissed at Governor Evers talking about raising the damn registration cost 73%. You done got beside yourself. It's mighty white of you. After you have a surplus and then you rape us further with this revenue sharing. Come on, son. Stop it. Zakita Bell, how you doing, my sister? She said, right. I'm glad you agree. Earl Henning in the chat room, he said, we don't want the dogs and the water. Earl, what you talking about, Earl? The dogs and the water. Earl always trips me out. Earl, he said, usually what he say, come on, chocolate milk, love us. Yeah, so yeah, man. This is a time where we are, like I said, black people are in a holding pattern. I think it's more important right now to circle the wagons locally. Because once again, federal politics is such a wide net. It's so broad. It's so many different components. But you have to look around and see what's going on in your city, wherever you live at. Look at your community. Look at your neighborhood. Look how much things cost.
Right.
You know, that little funky ass $2 they add 2% that they added on. We talked about this too, Kamar. It took anything that was $1 to $2. You go in the store now and get you some beer and some cigarettes and something. $25. What the fuck? $25. Well, just give me a 6-pack and 2 Lucy's, right? I'm just saying, man. And I'm gonna say it again. The city of Milwaukee generated $200 million via this tax increase, and 90% is going to pension plan payments for city employees. And the other 10% is going to fire and police. That is the biggest screw over I've heard in a long time, yo. And that's local. That's local. And guess what? We got a black mayor. Come on. Remember how excited we were when we elected all these black officials? What they call them, the Black Seven. Had black county executive, black mayor, black police chief, black sheriff. Everybody was black downtown. That first black city attorney, shout out to Tierman Spencer, was a partner and a friend of the show. First black city attorney in the history of the city. Everybody's walking around here with their chest poked out. Now, all was this 4 years later. Some of them done headed south. They done resigned and took their money and left. Our black housing, the black director of our housing, the school superintendent, black man, fraud, gone, resigned, retired. Where they gone? What happened to the joy of the Black Seven? I got a black mayor, and I ain't heard this dude say nothing black. I ain't heard him say nothing black since he been elected. I need somebody to ask him, hey, mayor, are you still black? I think he probably laughed and be like, what? Why would you say that? Because you done served us up on a platter for the powers that be. Earl Henning says, you remember in the South, what are used to, I think he's saying we used to treat people. In South, what are used to treat people with the dogs and the water hoses. Okay, I get what you're saying. We don't want the dogs and the water hoses. He's saying we don't want to be sprayed. You know what? If that's where we're going, we're gonna have a major problem. If you're gonna bring the fire hoses and the dogs back out, God damn it! First of all, the black firefighters shouldn't be with that shit. If I see a black firefighter pointing that water hose at some black people, we don't get in your ass, partner. We know where you
going to get his brother. He's finna go take his brother out.
You will not sleep well tonight.
His brother better be fighting with us, goddammit.
Hey, you better drop that hose. You better lose the wrench to the fire hydrant or something, because we on your ass. Sister Booker said, I ain't gonna let the Sun Dodger fight this war with Trump. This isn't our fight. She said she's going to let the Sun Dodgers fight this war with Trump. This isn't our fight. We knew the assignment when it came to voting only confused niggas voted for Trump. Well, I can say that. That's one reason why I say we're in a holding pattern and we sitting back, because we know 80% plus of us still voted democratically. I don't think we were necessarily voting for Kamala, because a lot of us was like, me. We just was like anybody but Trump.
I think more people was voting against Trump versus voting for Kamala.
Right. And so it was a slight uptick in black votership, which black conservatives and black Republicans like to hang their hell. We showed them we gonna get off the Democratic plantation. Stop it, man. What are you talking about? Earl Henning said they saying fuck us. Of course they are. She said he ain't said nothing black. Well, I'm saying, like, okay, you got a black mayor. You think he's gonna get on TV, and especially in a city of like Milwaukee, where you got 44% of this city is black. All right. And I would say, and I can say this confidently, 80% of the things that you want to see or attend or go to in Milwaukee are on the north side. And at least 80% of the black population is on the north side, right? So the prime real estate, 5 minutes from the lake, 10 minutes from the stadium, all that kind of stuff, all the architecture, the neighborhoods, all of this, the parks. The South is okay, but we don't cross the bridge. Come on, son. Like, the North Side is that deal. And these are the people who voted for him. Like, Black Milwaukee said, oh man, it's a black dude running for mayor. We gonna get out here. I ain't heard this man. First of all, when you hear him speak, he ain't even speaking from the hip. He's not even talking to us. I'm trying to listen to see if it's a code. You know, Kamar, because sometimes we be trying to hear if it's a code. Like, what he saying up under that? What he mean? He ain't even got no code. If I say I want 1 million people in Milwaukee in 7 years, really? You can't feed the people you got. Stop, man. This dude. Listen, this is a funny thing. When I say saying something black, I mean speaking to the people. And this is the one thing I always tell people who say, well, you know, he can't come in and do something just for black people, right? And this is why politicians are idiots. And this is why I think we need to create our own politicians, come up with our own politicians, because they should know when somebody asks you that question, they say, so are you going to do something for black people? That individual should say, well, yes, I'm going to do something for black people. I'm going to do something for black people, Latino people, Asian people, even white people, gay people. I'm going to do something for everybody, as opposed to saying, no, I'm not going to do nothing just for blacks. I'm everybody mayor. No matter what you think, you a black man first and foremost. If you could take that melanin out your skin and give it back, then it'll be a different thing. Don't tell me you everybody mayor, but then you come to our church when your ass needs somebody to vote for you. How you guys doing today? Hey, praise the Lord. I was raised down the street. Stop it, man. Stop it. Playing in my face, like Liz Brown used to say. Mark Ross, how you doing, my brother? How you doing? I see you. I see your podcast is still going strong. Mark, we got to get you back in, man. You just got to let me know when you have time. I ain't forgot about you. You can come back in and pontificate with us when you're ready. Milltown, Mikey Davis, the homie, neighborhood. What it do, cuz? How you doing, my brother? How you doing? Mikey Davis in the building. Always appreciate you being in with us. Sister Booker said our mayor is a little whitish. The name of the show is Mighty Whitey. He's a little mighty whitey, right? He's a little mighty whitey-ish. It's mighty white of him to just go and give 90% of $200 million to a pension fund. This dude is crazy. And people say, Kev, he didn't do it. He didn't speak out against it. He was pushing this shit hardcore, and he lied and said there will be litigation to fight the conditions they put on this Revenue Sharing Act 12. And then when he got elected, he said, oh, man, I was just bullshit. We ain't going to do that. Mikey said he a lot of whitish. Sister Booker said, Milltime, Mikey Davis, I was trying to be nice. Hey, you can let it loose on here, man. This is Outlaw Radio. You say what you want to say. Of course, you know, sometimes people get flagged. I know Mama Jenkins used to go in the chat room, and Facebook used to be right on her ass, like up, yeah. But now supposedly they got rid of all these fact checkers and all this kind of stuff, so it's supposed to be more free speech. And I don't know if Zuckerberg stayed true to that. It's a million lies told a minute to us as black people. Earl said he's black because his brother was a killer. Your mayor. You know, I keep saying they made this dude in the lab because for so long, Ashanti Hamilton was supposed to be the mayor, the black mayor. You know, he was supposed to be that dude. And I was privy to some meetings in which that kind of concept was hammered home, that his intent was to be the first elected mayor of Milwaukee, the first black elected mayor. I'm sorry. But you know, that didn't materialize. And then all of a sudden this brother comes up out the grill. He comes up out the grill and say, I'm done. And they put him right on. Barrett said, this is my guy right here. And then Barrett went over to Europe to eat cheese and drink wine. I think he's back now. Is he still the ambassador over there? Mikey Davis said, well, fuck it. I'll say it. He ain't shit. You know, I keep saying politics for me is not personal. It's business. So when we talk about the fact that you don't make noise about, because even before Trump and everybody was elected, his whole regime, and we said this, we kept saying this, that they signed away their rights to any kind of DEI programming then. And then they were saying critical race theory and all this kind of stuff can't be taught in the schools. And immediately people said, well, wait a minute, we ain't gonna be able to have Black history programs. And then they said, well, you guys can still have Juneteenth Day. And we're going to extend it to now you can have some of those events on the lakefront. Remember that, Kamar? And black people got mad and went crazy. Like, what do you mean they moving Juneteenth to the lakefront? No, they just said we're going to let y'all have some of the events. And then Christmas came and they sent y'all a lesson about Karanga and Kwanzaa. Umoju, you niggas. That's what they did for you. And you said, oh, they care about us. It was mighty white of them to do that. Mikey said, hang him high, police chief also. The brother who was trying his damnness to get the fuck up out of Milwaukee and he got caught trying to apply for the police chief down in Texas. And then he didn't get the job. Is he still a police chief? They should have fired his ass then. Like, oh, you was trying to leave? Oh, hell no, man. You out of here. Police, come on, man. Police in Milwaukee? I've long stated that they have most of the time they have the majority of the annual city budget. It goes to police, and they turn and tell us we don't have enough officers. And when it comes to is particularly what the problem we have with the Stolies, Milwaukee's nationwide known. They're nationally known for the Kia boys right now. It's almost anytime I talk to somebody who's not from here, like if I talk to one of the homies that I went to school with or one of my partners who ain't living here no more, or even if I'm just visiting family out of town, one of the first things they ask me about is the Kia boys. Like, what's up with them Kia boys, man? What's up with that shit? Like, it's like, you're talking about a group of car thieves. In this little city on just the north side, you can't contain crime. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the north side is just one part of this city is actually pretty big in terms of area. We just don't go far south. We're just now going northwest. I love the west side. I'm from the near north side, but I love the west side. I love the north side, the northwest side, I should say, because it's spread out. But, you know, these are areas that we historically didn't populate. We weren't out where I live at now. We weren't living when I was growing up here in Milwaukee, nor did I have a desire to be out here. Like, what the fuck am I going to go out there for? There's no black people out there. I've always enjoyed being around my people, so it ain't no big deal. Earl says they weren't going to make him mayor because he whipped his daughter. I don't know if this investigation into the Russian mobsters who had the silk strip clubs, and there was some talk that he had been kind of insinuated in these investigations. This is all published, so I'm not. People say, "Kev, dry snitching," or I'm not telling his business. This is all you can find. This all in the news. Just Google it. I don't know if that's what kind of sent them on some like we're not fucking with you, Ashanti. There was obviously something happened because for years he was president of the kind of Common Council, and then it was just like boof, he was out of there. Sister Booker says now the thief. She called him the thief of police. She said now the thief of police ain't shit. He's a cracker in blackface. Wow, a white nationalist. You know, some black white nationalists out there, right? Now, is it true? Is it because we keep talking economics? So Musk is losing money. So they say he's losing $1 million a day, millions of dollars per day, because because Tesla stock is falling, and you hear a bunch of people complaining about the quality of the Tesla cars. Look, I'm not one of those people who likes the Cybertruck. I think the Cybertruck is one of the ugliest things I've ever. Have you ever been driving and pulled
It's
up on the side of
ugly
one of
as
these things?
fuck.
It is
It's
horrible.
ugly as fuck.
It is horrible. It doesn't scream wealth to me. It doesn't scream, "Hey, I'm a baller." It's like, "Hey,
Right.
I'm an idiot." Like, I'm just like, I've never ridden in one. I don't know anybody personally who has one, but I've seen them, people driving them in the city, and I pulled up in the parking lot and parked next to one and just kind of looked in there and looked at it and said, "This is the ugliest shit I've ever seen in my life." But the efficiency of electric cars, even Dodge right now is kind of rolling back this electric car thing, because now they had discontinued Chargers and Challengers and all this kind of thing, the gas models, and the electric shit didn't pan out. So now they're about to bring these gas V8s back.
Hey, I got one for you, Kev. It's
What's
a
that?
black man. It's a black man that just developed the first black man. I mean, not the first black car, but it's a black man that it's a black man that just developed an electric car called it's David Automotive.
Okay.
If y'all get a chance, look that up. It was something I just ran across today, as a matter of fact.
I ain't really ready for the electric car. I don't think the technology is there yet to make it as efficient as it should be. And so I'm really just hoping that I can continue driving gas. I'm an old man. Like, I'm gonna try to keep a hold to a gas car as long as I can. But if something electric that's efficient, that works correctly comes out, I wouldn't be, because I'm not against the advancement of technology. But I think something can become trendy like these Cybertrucks. Sister Booker said,
if I got an electric car, I just threw that out there because if I got an electric car, I'd rather get it from David Automotive. If he's out there. That's why I was saying, look him up. You know what I mean? That's something we got to do these days. You know what I'm saying? We got to, because the other show we was talking about. We don't know what black people do. We don't know what black people got. They don't got the stuff we want. Well, we got a black guy that got electric cars now. If you're looking for an electric car.
And Sister Booker's not talking about the electric car. She's talking about the Cybertruck. She said they're ugly as hell. They look like a deformed car.
It is. That motherfucker ugly as shit.
Yeah, I don't know how you can make. I seen a rapper who had all these rims and all this shit. I was like, if I waste a lot of money was a person, right? Like, that's entirely who you are. She said, I seen that on Facebook yesterday about the black man who invented the electric car. So she's reiterating what you were saying. I think
I was just gonna say, I think that's dope. You know what I mean? Because we always talk about we need people to do stuff that, you know what I mean, ain't no other black people doing.
Right. If all of the things that we're doing, there needs to be promotion for that. Like we talked about the black toilet paper. Remember we had the whole conversation one night. Y'all, this is how crazy my show gets. We had a whole big conversation one night about toilet paper and the black-owned toilet paper company that exists. And then I talked about Herbs and Lather here, black people who make soap and deodorant for that's specific to us.
Hair products, and they got skincare products, hair products.
Yes.
Black people or black people.
At your event, Kamar, at your event, they gave me the dope gift bag, right?
Yeah.
I barely got to use anything in that bag. I'm talking about, I sat it on the table. My wife, my kids, they said, well, what's this? I said, oh, that's a black soap company and they make black deodorant. I never seen it again. I ain't see the bag or nothing. Like, I was like, I gotta get
your wife might have ran through that. Hey, it's dope, man. They got some good products. Like they got a natural deodorant that they make, right? Well, I don't know how natural it is, but I do know like it don't got all the toxins and shit in it. Like it don't got the aluminum in it. And when I was looking for a deodorant, I was looking for a deodorant without aluminum. And it was hard for me to find the natural deodorant, you know what I'm saying, that really worked. Because like I'm buying natural deodorants from the store. By the end of the day, like I smell that shit. The shit didn't work. You know what I mean? It's some bullshit. But then I got they shit, man. And listen, they shit lasts for 2-3 days.
And I don't want to tell people that because I'm gonna need for you not to depend on your deodorant for 2 or 3 days. For real, for
Right.
real. Well, look, I'm seeing these white people with these Lumi commercials, and it's like, hey,
man,
put this on all your
spraying
parts.
the shit in their ass and shit.
Stop that! Don't do that. Don't be out here like that. What do we say? That's egregious. That's preposterous. That's
mighty whitey.
Mighty white of you to not wash your ass, right? That is mighty white of you. We know we played a part in kind of teaching them some things about hygiene, right? Like, so,
teach them that.
Right. So, no, just, you can go get the natural shit, but still bathe at a regular clip and, refresh. But I think that's kind of like, I know that they told me their products were in Outposts. I don't know if they have a website. Yep. I'm not really a dude who likes to go in stores nowadays. I like to really,
Herbs and Lather.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
You can also catch them, like they be out vending a lot too, all the time. Like every Saturday they at the Winter Farmers Market.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You can catch them every Saturday at the Winter Farmers Market on 53rd and Capitol at the table. It used to be a church, so look for a big, huge church, but it's a vocational center now.
What's that? Kujikagilia?
Yeah, the Kujikagilia.
Yeah, the word that you could never say when you drove past it on Capitol, like, oh, that's the Kujikagilia church. You never knew how to say that word. All right.
But it used to be a Lutheran church.
I know, I remember, but then there was the sign.
Kujikagilia was the co-op name.
No, but that sign was on there. It was on there for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And people used to drive past. I know I did, because I used to be like, no, turn by the Kujikagilia church. Like, nobody could ever.
It took me a long time to figure out how to pronounce that right, man. It took me a long time.
Thank you.
I was in the co-op and still couldn't pronounce it right.
Thank you, Dr. Carenza. Right. Right. Earl Henny said, I had a girl that tried to use natural deodorant. It didn't work. We're no longer together.
I bet.
Listen, if it don't work, right, then abandon ship. What I noticed in that package they gave me was the soap. That's what I really wanted, but my son took the soap. Like, he took it. Now, where'd soap go? He was like, oh, Dad, man, I almost used that all. I'm like, it was a bar. He was like, yeah, like, he used it every day, right? Like, and so, be careful if you know yourself. If you got the pits that really, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Don't trust. 3 days, I'm good. Nah, son, you ain't good. You can't do that. You can't do 3 days, man. I don't recommend you ever go 3 days without bathing if you can help it. If you miss a day, you miss a day, right? This is sometimes whatever. But come on that third day, if you like, I'm finna kick it. No, before you leave. It's the same with brushing your teeth. I've always been very religious about brushing my teeth, right? If I don't brush my teeth in the morning, I don't feel cool. Like, and I know it's been some times where I was running late for work or whatever, and I ran out the house, and I'm like, God damn, I didn't even brush my teeth. Shame on me. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom and it's like rinse my mouth with hot water and chew gum or whatever. But I'm one of those people who's like really about his like OCD about brushing his teeth. So I can't see how people go weeks, 3 weeks without brushing their teeth. It's just like, dude, why you don't brush your teeth? Like, and I had some homeboys who came down with a severe case of yuck mouth, and I knew that they just wasn't brushing their teeth. Like, it ain't, your shit's done fell out, man. You looking a little Jerome-ish over here. But yeah, I'm gonna get with them because I want some more of that soap. And I can't remember the kind they gave me, but it smelled really good. Like, and I think that's what drew my people to it, because the bag was sitting on the table and you could smell it. It was like, well, what's in this bag? And I'm like, oh, that's from the black soap. And immediately it was like, psh, I think they divvied it up, man. I didn't get to reap the benefits. You muted, Kamar.
I was gonna say, you get the whole set from them. You know what I mean? The soap, the lotion, deodorant. You know what I mean? They cold with it.
Yeah. And that's one of the things you get when you go to some of these events. You get to meet a lot of black vendors who do have products that are, beneficial to us. Like, I had this discussion of, once again, I'm just arguing with this random white person about, foundational Black Americans and what is it that we actually do. And like I told him, you can say what you want about us, but we hold this economy up. We are customers. We are consumers. And he's like, no, actually, who spends more money? Latinos and Asians. And I had to break him all the way down with the statistics and show him. And I said, do you even understand that hair grease, lotion, Vaseline, baby oil, no diddy, hair products, right? The wig industry. Million. You see a lot of sisters now saying, girl, I'm selling my own hair. I have my own line. This and that. We still not touching what they are generating with this. With just off of that, we spend so much money because we say skin need lotion, teeth need Colgate, right? Now, imagine if a large portion of that money went to black companies who manufactured this, who had the right formulas for our skin. Because, like you said, if they say we're going to take the aluminum out of deodorant, we're going to take the huge amount of fluoride out of some of the toothpaste because it has a negative effect, and we're already drinking it in our water. A lot of people aren't aware of those kinds of things. Like you seeing now that this in some of these hair products, the weave has carcinogens in it. I'm still calling it weave, right? That shows you how old I am. And even we found out that the perms, because black women are afflicted by this breast cancer epidemic, and you see the chemicals in the perms have been attributed to some of this. I said all that to say the one crazy thing that's coming out of this is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is over health. What is he, the health czar? I don't know. We're just going to call him that. I don't know his exact position, but he's railing on the food industry right now. He's getting at the FDA for some of the things that they have allowed in terms of food manufacturing. Like, I didn't even know that they have a clause that allows a lot of food manufacturers to use ingredients that haven't even been tested yet, right? The dyes, the red dye and the orange dye, and a lot of, you never even thought about when you was little, when you had a red annihilator and you ate it and your tongue was red. You thought that was because of the flavor of the annihilator. Like, I had a red annihilator, it left flavor on my tongue. It left dye on your tongue. It left food coloring on your tongue.
That shit was doing that on your insides too.
No matter, it's crazy. Who knows what it was doing? Because remember, come on, you had yellow, now purple, red, and you eat it, you be like, and your tongue is.
You got purple intestines now. Hey, look, I remember this one drink. When I used to go to this bar we used to frequent, right? We made up this drink. I forgot the name of it, but it was blue, right? Everybody was drinking this shit, dog. Like how you fucked up. Like we was all drinking this shit every night. You know what I mean? And man, I looked up one night, dog, and my shit was green. It scared the fuck out of me. And it was coming, and it came from that blue drink. Dog, that motherfucking dye is horrible for people.
Okay, so one of the ways that you can monitor your health, right, is to observe the color of your urine, right? Yeah. And to observe the color of your feces. And so I really wasn't right, whether it's solid versus whatever. Okay, the composition.
If it float or sink.
But I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for you to say my shit was green. Like I had in my head. I said,
hey, listen, man, I was ready to go to the hospital, dog. I
don't want to go in there. How many times I done seen some green shit in the toilet for myself? I'm not gonna tell nobody. I wasn't scared though. I just figured, hey man, it is what it is. I just listen.
This was a weird green. That's what I say. It was that dye. It was the dye, man. The dye from the shit and whatever that mix was in the drink.
The more detail you tell, the worse it gets. But hold on, we ate candy, popsicles, gum, Kool-Aid, soda, all these different things we ate with all these different food colorings in them. It's just like processed food that we eat right now because we're on the go. So you don't have the time to really invest in real like meal prep to a certain degree. So you want to, for convenience sake, you buy something out the store that's prepackaged. You say, I'm gonna throw this on for my kids. But I learned when they first told me I had high blood pressure, the first thing I started to do was look at labels. And so all of a sudden, sodium levels became important to me. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I remember vividly, I went into Walmart one time and I walked around with my son, and I was getting food, but I was just looking for stuff that the sodium content wasn't super high. And I'm telling you, Kumar, I didn't have a whole lot in my cart. It was like, damn, every time I looked at something. But then when you look at a label, you have to know how to read it. So you'll see how much sodium, how much whatever it has in it, but then you got to look at serving size. So even if it's something that say, okay, the sodium is low in this, but a serving is 1, and I'm probably going to eat 9 of them. So it's like you get a bag of chips and you say, well, this bag of chips only got this much sodium in it, but what's the serving size? It's probably about 1/4 or 1/2 of that bag, and you're going to eat 3 bags. So, it's monitoring and being aware, and a lot of people just are not. So he's going after the food manufacturers right now, which I think is cool. I'm not against that. He's a little off, but I haven't heard him invest in as much sensationalism. I bet you if I jump in and dig deep, I'll find something. But we're coming off a situation where I think, and this is not proven yet, but I think that there was large scale experimentation on people with the COVID shot. And we've seen there's a lot of question marks in terms of, and even young, fit pro athletes who had taken this vaccine and passed away due to heart ailments, and people who have developed health condition side effects of this COVID thing. And you didn't take it, I didn't take it, and I had COVID, but I took elderberry, and my wife made citrus tea, and I ate oranges, and I drank a lot of water, and I prayed to God. So I got past it. And I didn't rush. I'm gonna go take the vaccine now and all this kind of shit. And so I feel like what we say, people got bamboozled in that whole deal. But we were saying it when it occurred, like, hey man, something ain't right with this, man. How they come with this? What's in that needle? You know what I mean? So that the truth on that hasn't been told, but I'm hoping if he's gonna be effective in his position, and this is wishful thinking, that he'll come up with what the truth was actually about with the COVID thing, so that we can start helping people who may suffer some consequences. I know that there's one that they said was just the wrong, was it Pfizer? They're saying that one had the most side effects out of every one. And the people who took that was one of the early ones. And so people who took that was really kind of struggling a little bit there. So yeah, I don't, you can't believe anything that they tell you. Earl Henning said green shit. It's like eating some corn, man, and using the bathroom. Like, why the corn won't digest? Like, why is corn indestructible? Like, corn is indestructible. It survives digestive acids and all kinds of shit.
It wasn't made for us to eat. It wasn't made for us to eat. Corn was really just made to feed cows and shit with.
Really?
It's like a filler, yeah.
Well, hold on, because they say the Native Americans gave the Pilgrims corn, and they didn't really have cows like that. They was eating buffalo, and they wasn't feeding the buffalo. They was hunting them. But they said corn supposedly has nutritional value. So I've always said, why it won't digest? Like, I don't care who you are.
I don't know what nutritional value we got.
We'll have to look it up. We'll have to Google it and see.
Maybe it's a certain kind of wild corn. But I know this yellow corn, I don't know, man. This yellow corn is a hybrid. You know how on Thanksgiving you get wild corn where it be like different colors and shit, but it be hard as a motherfucker. They do something to it.
Okay.
Maybe that's the corn they was eating.
Yeah, that corn, Indian corn, used to look different when I was little. I used to be like, because my mother would make cream style corn, and I used to be like, that don't look like the shit they was that they gave the Pilgrims. They corn.
Maybe I don't know. That's a good one though, man. That's something I'm gonna look into.
I'm looking into it right now because I want to know, because it's indestructible. I just know anytime you eat some corn, when you use the bathroom, like, damn, that corn.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, corn is good. Like, this one thing I use it for is like, I eat the shit, but I'm just saying, like, you can use it to gauge and tell how good your digestive system is working. So, like, you eat some corn and you see how long it takes for you to see that corn again.
Okay. Man, the show has gotten crazy.
You should see that corn. You're supposed to see that corn in a few hours later that day.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And usually it'd be like the next day by the time you see it. most people.
So it says that corn is a nutritious food source, particularly rich in fiber, vitamins like C and B, and minerals, with a moderate amount of protein and carbohydrates. It says it consists primarily of insoluble fiber, which makes it a low glycemic index food. This means that it is a food that is digested slowly and doesn't cause an unhealthy spike in blood sugar. It also contains many B vitamins as well as essential minerals, including zinc, magnesium, copper, iron, and manganese. So yeah.
See, I'm wondering though, like I say, is it that wild corn or not? Because you got wild rice that's nutritional. It's it's nutritional for you. But then you got this white rice that ain't got shit in it.
Right. The sugar, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? So like one of them is you got a hybrid here. The regular corn, this yellow corn is a hybrid.
Okay. Let me see. Y'all like they talking about corn. We're talking about corn. That's what we're talking about.
Corn and green shit, right?
right. And green. And
this our Seinfeld episode.
Right.
The show about nothing and everything, right?
Hey, man, you better pay attention, baby. You better pay attention. Let me see if I can get an answer to this for you. It's saying yellow corn is a good source. It's repeating what it said. And what color corn is the healthiest? Okay, here we go. What color corn is the healthiest? Yellow corn contains slightly more nutritional value than white corn because of the pigment. Makes yellow corn beta carotene, and that turns into, I guess, something that's beneficial for the body. It says higher antioxidant content purple corn. I've never seen purple corn. I guess we have. I just didn't say it was purple. I didn't know what
kind. Corn I was talking about. But you know, whenever you get anything, any kind of food or vegetables with color, is gonna be more mineral rich.
Okay,
because that's the color. It's just like melanin in people.
There we go. So don't feel guilty when you butter up that corn, or unless you put too much butter and salt on it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm like, come on, I got to take that back. I take that back. But I've always just been kind of leery, like, yo, it won't digest. But I think my wife and I actually, this is how we are. I think we sat down and looked that up one time. Like, why it won't digest?
Shit, so I just like corn, man. I think the shit tastes good.
I like it. Whenever I barbecue, it's on the grill. Anytime, I'm telling you. And I'll boil it. If I'm doing a steak or something, I enjoy boiling and putting some salt and, hey, man, fat people shit. Now I didn't, you know what? I seen this another thing I seen online, and I kind of looked at it and said, what would I do? I put myself in this position. And I want to talk about this to close the show because all of a sudden it's 9:52, Kamar. And I know we had to break it up, but we didn't lose that much time, so it evens out. LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith recently on the sideline at a game. Stephen A. Smith has been very critical of LeBron's son. In a conversation about nepotism has been had a lot, and people are saying, well, the only reason Bronny is on the Lakers team, the only reason he got drafted was because his dad was LeBron James. And we said, okay, no shit, Sherlock. And then they said, well, that was obvious nepotism. And we said on the show, yo, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with, if I'm a black man, bringing my son on to, it's like if I got a good job, and he is an adult and he say, Dad, I'm looking, hey man, come on down here and apply. I'm gonna get you in. I ain't gonna bring you necessarily unless I have the ability to right in where I'm at. But yeah, I'm gonna hook you up. So I don't think it's anything wrong with what LeBron's doing for his son, with his son. I think it's a tremendous experience as a father to have been a professional athlete and be able to say, man, my son was on the team together. Like, we played together. We was in the league at the same time. If he was a bench warmer, I don't care if he scored 2 points, whatever. I had my shorty right here with me. He was right with me. If I drove a dump truck, if I owned a dump truck company and my son said, Dad, I want to be like you, and I was able to get him on doing what I'm doing, and I can help him out because I'll teach him the lessons starting out that I made it, receive. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do think LeBron has to be honest. I think you got to meet the people where they are. And so Stephen A. Smith has been very critical. Who's it? Stuck in the System. Shout out to you. You were on YouTube. Please share the show. He says, "Good night, fellas. I salute." Man, shout out to you, my brother. Thank you for coming. Earl Henning said, "Purple corn chips." Okay, just catch my chat room. But so you see, LeBron confronts Stephen A. Smith, and he's saying to him, "Keep my son's name out of this bullshit." Stephen A. Smith's initial response was he said one thing, and he's now kind of come out a little bit more Brody because he ain't standing in front of 6'8", 6'9" LeBron James, right? And he's saying, well, I wasn't scared. I ain't scared and all that. But he did say at first, I realized when he was talking to me that I wasn't speaking to an athlete. I was speaking to a father. I was speaking to a dad. And this kind of goes back to what I said about Charleston White being so reckless at the mouth, talking about people's kids. Like, you got to watch what you say. Now, I do think LeBron should be honest and just say, okay, so maybe he does have some deficiencies. Maybe he is not developed as some other kids might be coming into the NBA. And maybe he is on the Lakers because I'm his dad. So what? So what? I make $50 million a year to play basketball, just to play basketball, and probably another 50 to 75 million to do other things because of basketball. Yes, I got my son on the team. What's the deal? What's the problem? But he should just openly admit, hey, he needs work. And maybe he has. I'm not a LeBron fan to the point where I know all the things he said. But I definitely can understand where he's coming from. But like I said, I think he should be transparent too and say, he needs some work. But he here with me, so he's gonna get all the work he needs because I'm gonna teach him that. What you think about the whole LeBron thing?
I think I disagree. I gotta disagree with LeBron, man.
Okay.
Because see, here's the thing, right? Like, yeah, it's your son, all that. That's whatever. How he got a league is whatever. But you have to understand that this is the media, and the media critiques players. This is what they do. If he ain't up to standard, the media gonna say it. They gonna expose it. They gonna ask, why is he here and other players could be there? You know what I mean? This is what the media do. So I feel like LeBron, yeah, you're a father, but you also a player, and you done played for damn near 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So you know they gonna critique you, good or bad. They critique the worst players. They critique the best players, and your son just happened to be one of them. Tell your son to use it as inspiration to get better.
Okay, cool. I can understand that.
You know what I mean? Because this is coming.
Even outside
and I feel like he should have told us. I feel like he should have told us, huh?
No, go ahead and finish. I just want to kind of reiterate a point. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
I was gonna say I feel like he should have told his son this coming into the league. Like, man, you gotta have some tough skin. They finna be on your ass. Look how we coming in the league. You know
and
what
I'm sure
saying?
he did.
So like you can't. I don't think it's ever a good time for the players to get at the media unless you're talking about something personal.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff he talk about LeBron's son, he talking about basketball. He ain't saying your son is a horrible person outside of basketball. You know what I mean? He's disrespectful. He ain't saying none of that. He just talking about his game, and that's what he get paid to do, to talk about the game.
So I think I don't know that it's the actual basketball stuff as opposed to the indication that LeBron is putting this pressure on his son, or that somehow he's manipulated his son, or that his son, this is not necessarily what he wants. Like I think it's that kind of accusation that he's doing something that's going to hurt his son in the long run because of his ego. I think that's what he pretty much where his head is. Like, yo, and that's been said. Like there's been some commentators who have crossed the line from just critiquing the kid as a basketball player, but saying stuff about his upbringing and his family and him. And it's just like right now with Deion Sanders' son, his draft stock allegedly has plummeted because a lot of coaches are saying he's cocky, he's arrogant. He only had this recognition because his dad was Deion Sanders. He was only the starting quarterback because of Deion Sanders. And it's like, first of all, I don't believe that's true in the case of Shedeur. But even if it was, so what? So what? When Musk got his son running around the White House right now. Trump's sons is just standing there, and one of his sons, they're like, "Oh, he's next up. He's next." This motherfucker look evil as hell. I'd be like, dude, look like a mad scientist, like an evil rich dude up in the lab building droids and shit. So I'm saying, I agree with you, Kamar. As a pro athlete, you should know that with that money and that fame comes a lot of criticism, a lot of things people are gonna say. Yes, that's part of it. But I think as a father, you kind of say, but fuck that though. Like, why are you putting this out here like I'm doing something? I'm having the time of my life. He might be having the time of his life with his son on the road with him. Imagine that. If you got your son, you say, hey man, and even with the money he's making, like, hey, yo, let me introduce you to these people. Put this money over here. Do like he's teaching him all the right things to do. Hopefully. Earl Henning said, if your daddy worked at A.L. Smith, you expected him to get you a job at A.L. Smith. That's right. It's never. That's what people with money do. They make sure their kids have a seat at the table. But most of them are ready to deal with the criticism of that and say, yeah, you're right. So what? That's my son. So what? I mean, that's just how it works. I speak about it as a father because I know my son is an athlete, and when he was growing up, I was very, very. I paid a lot of attention. I was very attentive to how adults interacted with him. I didn't have any problem with anybody coaching him hard. No diddy. I didn't have any problem with any coach who demanded a certain level of accountability and ability from him. But anytime it became kind of personal or it became counterproductive, I would step in and say, hold on, man. And I've taken my son off of teams because I didn't like the coach and I didn't like how and it wasn't just my son. When I watched his interactions with the kids, period, there's coaches who I looked at and said, I would never let my son play for him. And they'd be like, yeah, man, little dog, you come in here. And I'm like, no. We get in the car, my son be like, you ain't finna let me play for dude, is you? Hell no. You already know that. You not know. Because my job is not to raise a basketball player or a football player. My job is to raise a young man. Football and basketball is just what he does. And don't get me wrong, very proud. Every time he was doing well, I was, my smile was there for 48 hours. My chest was poked out. But even if he'd have been a scrub, but he just competed and had fun, I would have been proud of him. You say, hey, man, you was dedicated to this shit. You worked hard. You did your best. Now let's try to figure out something that you're exceptional at, because you was just suffice. You was just sufficient to that. Let's find something that you're really exceptional at. What else do you like to do? It's a gateway into really building a relationship with your child. But I think, and I know a lot of us look at it like, he going pro. That's the first thing that boy going pro. He gonna get drafted. Like, your job ain't to save us from the ghetto, man. You know what I'm saying? I just want you to be a kid. And so, I get LeBron's anger, but I'm with you. LeBron can't really be mad. He can't. I mean, I could see him pulling Stephen A to the side saying, man, I feel like you go a little hard on my boy, man. Come on now, man. Black man to black man. If you had a boy, wouldn't you? You know what I'm saying? But he said, nah, he seen him sitting at half court. He said him sitting.
And I would understand that. I would understand that. You know what I mean? But he told him, like, man, we could go out here on this court and go at it. Man to man, one-on-one. And come on, man.
Did he say that? I didn't know.
Athlete out here.
Now, did he say that? Okay.
That's what Stephen A. Smith said. He said to him.
Oh, yeah, he sure did. You're right. All I seen was when he said, keep my son's name. It was just like Will Smith, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Like, hey, as bad as that was, he made his point to Chris, right? Like, and once again, his skin was supposed to be thin, right? Like, I mean, it's supposed to be thick, and Chris is a comedian, but
right.
Yo, watch your mouth. Watch what you say. That's what I'm saying, Kamar. Like, everything kind of comes to a head eventually, and you reap what you sow.
It's like we say. You got. It's like we say. You got the right to say anything you want to say, but you know what I mean. You ain't got nothing to do with how they gonna reply to you, or you know what I mean. You can't control what they say back to you or what they do, but you can say what you want to say.
Say, and that's Ice-T a long time ago who said when he had the album Freedom of Speech, just watch what you say. Because you can say whatever you want, but always be willing to deal with whatever comes with what you said. Like tonight, I said it was criminal for our elected officials to not speak out against 90% of $200 million going back to a pension payment plan? If somebody come to me tomorrow and say, hey, man, you said that, man, I'm not no criminal. For you to say that, I got a problem with that. I can't back up on it, Kamar. I can't be like, that was Kamar who said that. I can't be like, I ain't mean like that. I have to say, man, I'm passionate about that. And this is why I felt that way. Now, if they can give me enough information that changes my opinion, I'm going to come back on here next week and say, you know what? I got a phone call. And it depends on what you say on the phone call, too, because don't call me with no bullshit. What Ernest call it, white splaining. Don't call me with no simple shit, because it's not going to get you a retraction of the statement. But that's Outlaw Radio for me, man. Mighty Whitey on a Wednesday night. It's 10 o'clock. I'm going to let y'all put it to bed. I got to get up early myself and hustle in the morning and make the donuts. It is Wednesday, so we won't be back until Monday. Kamar, you got anything on the docket for the weekend coming up? You muted, Kamar. You muted.
House of Vitality, come on down to the House of Vitality. It's working on the immune system. Let's get you some sea moss in your system. But come on and just get some of these nice cold drinks, these cold teas or smoothies.
Okay, there you go. Do that. Y'all share the show, please. Put some paint where it ain't. Put it in groups. Put it everywhere. Let people see it. And this one is 2 parts, so I'm definitely gonna shoot this through the editing thing and kind of put up some what they call it, some TikTok clips and whatnot. So you'll be able to catch both parts of the show. But we'll be back Monday, man. In the meantime and in between time, please keep your head on a swivel and listen. I always encourage people to become the type of person that listens more than you speak. And I know for some of y'all that's very hard to do, but communication is a science. There's a science to it, and it's really about delivering messages and receiving messages. Because if you think about it, you've never really learned anything while you were talking, while you were speaking. To learn means you need to be able to listen. The only time that you're going to learn something without listening is if you're reading it and you're comprehending what you're reading. Either way, it doesn't involve you running your mouth all the goddamn time. So sooner or later, you have to figure out what your contribution is going to be to whatever processes we go through to better ourselves and advance ourselves. If the fact is we haven't done anything of merit in the last 50 years, let's start building towards doing something of merit to leave our children so that they can inherit it. That's really what the name of the game is. The point of this all is to try and leave the world a better place tomorrow than it was yesterday when you found it. But of course, we know there's always going to be people who just talk. And in that case, usually their criticism of the community outweighs their contribution to it. And every time we see them, we just drive by them in the car and be like, look at them coons. But it is what it is, man. Peace and love, man. Y'all be safe. Y'all be great. Kevin, love the kids. Y'all young people, stay safe. Talk to your young people, man. Try to talk to these young brothers out the tree, off these corners, and back into the home so we can try and build a new generation. I'll see y'all Monday, man. Peace and love.